Hi, it's craft time. I don't know why I'm always wearing this shirt when I make a video. It seems like it, but anyway, free advertisement for them, eh? Okay, so what we're gonna do today is we're going to give a rolling pin a makeover. I bought this one yesterday at an antique store for like $6. I don't really know that it's old because of how it's made. I did give it a once over with my chalk teak dark wax, aka dark teak. I did give it a once over just to see what it would look like. Anyway, I didn't want to use one of my for real old pins until I tried it out. And if this is old and I mess it up, I'm sorry. But I just didn't want to mess up one of my good ones. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint the handles. We're going to listen to my dog bark because that's what he does. Every time I make a video, take my watch off because it's getting on my nerves. I got a new watch strap for my iWatch and I love it. Amazon. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna use just a off-white. This is White Adirondack from Hobby Lobby by Folk Art. Excuse me. I'm going to paint, that just had an explosion. I'm gonna paint a little bit of this too because what I'm gonna do is not gonna cover the whole rolling pin. So I think I'll just put a little on the rolling pin itself, just right there at the end. And then y'all know me, once I get it painted and it dries, I will go over it again with my dog teak. What is wrong with me? I can't talk today. I can't be talking. Yeah, we'll paint the whole end of this thing. It does roll good. I don't use a rolling pin much anymore. I do sometimes when I make biscuits. So I ordered off of Amazon, there again, Amazon, some rice paper. And the rice paper is printing paper. It's easy to work with when you're decoupaging. I took a piece of my scrapbook paper and I put it on my little printer and I made a copy of it onto the rice paper. And when I go to decoupage, it's a much thinner paper. I don't know, using that Tim Holtz rice paper that I used, I just really enjoyed working with it. It was easy to work with. You don't have to use rice paper. You can just use the scrapbooking paper. The idea that I saw, you would use a piece of this, and if I can find something like this, I will do it, but I haven't had a chance to look yet. You find a recipe that your mother or your grandmother, had them written out, and if it's the right size, you would then decoupage that recipe to the rolling pin, and it would make a great gift. Now, if I can find one of my mother's recipes in her recipe book that I have that's small enough to fit on this, I'll go ahead and do it. But wouldn't that be a great gift for someone like my sister? She loves rolling pins anyway, so she has a collection of unique rolling pins. I just like older stuff. I like unique items, Everything today is just so, you just throw it away. So I went in the antique store yesterday and they had all these wooden spools from back in the day before they started using plastic. Sometimes you can still find a wooden spool, but it's not as common. And these were so pretty. They were $3 each, but they're very unique looking. They're not like spools that I'm used to seeing. So when I get done with this, I will show y'all my spools. I'm just going back over and taking the one stripe down just to give it a smoother appearance so you don't have a bunch of zigzags. Because nobody wants a bunch of zigzags. And now I'm going to lay this on my little egg crate so it doesn't roll away. Voila! These are the spools that I picked up yesterday. And I came home and I ran the chalk teak wax over them because they had some light scratch marks on them. And I just wanted to smooth them out. You see, it didn't change the color of the green, but see how it was scratched? So that scratching was a lot lighter, so I just rubbed that over there just to give them a more, just so they weren't as obvious. How pretty is that? These little ones these two right here were 2 for $4, which I thought was a great price. These bigger ones were $3, and this one was $3. Aren't they cool? Now, I believe these did have some writing on them, but again, it was very hard to see. Maybe it was the other one. There it is. I can't tell what it says, but anyway, very cool things. Is it upside down? Maybe that's why I can't read it. Paper Tube Company? Maybe they were spools for paper made in, I don't know. I can't read it. I thought they were cool. Back to the crafts. So I think I've told y'all before, I have a love-hate relationship with Crackle. I don't know why, but I have a hard time with it. But I got it to work. So I'm gonna continue because what I'm putting on here has some black in it, and I thought the black may look better. So I'm using Elmer's glue, and I am applying liberally, maybe not that liberally, but I want it to be thick, not drippy thick, but thick. So from what I know about Crackle, which isn't a whole lot, if you put a little bit of glue, you get a smaller crackle. If you put a big, like a thick amount of glue, you're gonna get a bigger crackle. That's about all I know. You don't let the Elmer's glue dry. I learned a lot that on my last craft when I kept trying to crackle. By the time I figured it out, I was over it. I was done. I was like, I am not doing this anymore. Okay, so I have this coated with the Elmer's glue. Now I am going to take the black paint, which is just home decor chalk, and the color is rich black. And I am just going to brush it evenly. Okay, and now that we have it coated, take a hairdryer. It doesn't have to be one of those heating guns unless you have one. You can use a hairdryer, but you're gonna put it on high. And hold it close. And keep turning. If you hold it in one place too long, it'll blister. You don't want it to blister, you just want it to crack. See how it's starting to crack? Now, those are just directions that I've learned. You may have done it differently and it works fine, but this is just what I've learned that works for me. This doesn't have a lot of crackle, but it at least makes it look older. Pretty cool, huh? It's not the best crackle. I've seen better crackle. I still don't know what I'm doing wrong, but maybe one of you will know. Got a little bit of a blister there. I remember watching Barb on the Shabby Tree, and she was trying to crackle something. And if you watch her, you know how excited she gets. And she was like, I cannot figure out why it is not crackling. And she kept, you could tell she was getting nervous because it wasn't working. But it sure did make me feel better, because I was like, if Barb can't do it, then I don't feel bad. That woman has some great ideas and talent. And now more glue. Where'd my glue go? I was about to paint black paint on there. Okay, that was a lot, Tracy. Overestimating. Okay, it's all the way around. And now for the black paint. I think one important thing is to keep the paint going in the same direction and try not to put 2 layers. Try to get one good layer on. Okay. Okay, all right. I'm gonna leave it on here because I don't want to mess anything up. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the Mod Podge. Look at me saying it right. Mod Podge. Where's my Mod Podge? Oh, here it is. Okay, first of all, here's the rice paper. That's the blank side. That's the side I copied the picture on. I just laid the picture on my printer, put the rice paper in the tray. It's a little bit longer than standard paper, and I printed it. It's a super thin piece of paper. I am going to trim it so it's not quite as wide. Okay, before I cut it, I am going to measure around 6 1/4. It's right on the 16 mark. So I'm gonna cut my paper just a hair longer just to make sure that I don't cut it too short. So let's see. Cut it about right there. I just got black paint on that. It's fine. It's fine. I would rather have it a little bit too long than a little bit too short, right? Am I right? Right. And I'm going to cut this little piece off. Okay, maybe by adding a little, I didn't cut it too short. Okay, now I'm going to put the Mod Podge, but I'm not going to coat the whole thing in Mod Podge. I watched Scrappy's Rustic Designs, I think is the name of her page. And she said when you're doing Mod Podge like this, and it's on a round item, to only do it a little at a time because it gets tricky when you're doing on a round thing. So I'm going to trust her. So let's move that. I'm just going to put Mod Podge right there. I know, and some of y'all are like, where are your gloves? They're right here where they need to be. Gosh, told y'all. I have everything I need. I just don't put it on. Okay, so now I'm just going to apply, come down here, and then I'm gonna get closer as I go up. And I'm gonna roll my paper a little bit. And I'm not using a lot of Mod Podge because I have learned when you use a lot, it causes it to wrinkle. And that's what we don't want to happen, is the wrinkling. Looky there, okay? Now I'm gonna put just another layer on top. I'm just covering the paint on both sides. And this is a matte finish Mod Podge, so it will not dry shiny. I just think it gives it a little bit of a finished look, okay? And now I'm gonna blow dry. I'm on low. Okay, I'm gonna leave this to dry for a minute, and I'm gonna go get my glue gun and hook it up because I want to put something around each side. So I'll be right back. Hello. Okay, all that you have missed was I took the chalk teak dark wax on a paper towel, and I rubbed it over the whole thing. Let me back you up because you cannot see. Okay. And now I'm gonna take this, I call it rickrack. They call it burlap trim, whatever. Call it whatever you want. I'm gonna take it and put around the edges just to give it another design. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think this was cute. It was at Dollar Tree. Hey, for my friends in other my boss just sent me a text that said Costco. In other parts of the world, do y'all have a Dollar Tree? Like in Australia and Ireland and England? Well, do you? All right, so I am going to measure this to the 16 point like I did the paper, and I'm going to measure one more. Now this would be real cute if you had some paper with, say, sunflowers on it, or I mean whatever paper you can find. I will try to remember to post the link to the rice paper so that you can buy some rice paper if you want it. I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue. I hope I don't burn myself again, because I was cooking like a dummy Thursday night, and I put the plate on the stove, but it wasn't on an eye, and it was pushed back from the eye I was cooking on. Didn't even occur to me that what I had done was going to burn me like it did. But oh boy, did it burn me. I immediately started soaking it in cold water, and I applied Manuka honey. My sister had shingles, and she had a Manuka. She had a shingle on her face, and it left, you know, it was a scar, like a chickenpox scar. And she took Manuka honey. What is my problem with this word? And she put it on that spot. And she said by the next day that spot was gone. I bought some just in case, since I'm basically a walking disaster. So I was soaking my finger, but I also put the Manuka honey on it and, you know, would put it back in the water. I was kind of going between the honey, and then I would soak it some more in some honey. Well, the honey did not take the sting away. So I texted my friends Trina and Megan, and Megan wrote back about lavender oil, and I knew that about lavender oil, and I can't believe I forgot it. So I have some lavender oil in the bathroom, so I went and got some, and I applied the lavender oil to those two fingers. It was these two fingers, and it immediately stopped burning. So I don't know if the Manuka honey kept it from blistering, but as bad as it was burning, I can't believe I didn't end up with a blister. I'm not saying that the Manuka honey didn't do anything. I'm just saying it didn't stop the burning, but the lavender did. So if you don't already have some, go get you some lavender, because it immediately took the sting out of my fingers. Okay, now isn't that just the cutest thing ever? I did look through some of my recipes, and I could not find one where I had my mom's writing on a recipe. All of the ones I have from her are typed. I'm like, now I know you didn't sit and type all of these dang recipes. So she must have either gotten them from someone or printed them from something, because she did not have any handwritten ones in there. But she may have some back at the house. I think there's a recipe box there. So I may go and see if I can find one, but you have to have one small enough that the entire recipe would go all the way around, or when you make the copy and put it on the rice paper, shrink it so that it will fit on here. But wouldn't that be cute with a little recipe on it that belonged to someone you love, or just your own handwriting to leave a legacy for your children or something? It'd be a good Christmas gift to give your kids or your grandkids. You could make copies of their favorite recipes and pick a design that matches their kitchen or whatever and put it on there. Isn't that cute? That's my thumbnail. Although it's supposed to be at the beginning, but that's okay. I'll make it work. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow when I do the cooking video. I was gonna do the cooking video today, but I'm taking these muffins to work on Monday, so I didn't want to make them that far in advance. So anyway, Again, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. And please like, follow, and do that sprinkle thing. Yeah. So talk to you later. Love you, mean it. Jesus loves you. Goodbye.